What's up guys, DuArktik here with another Marvel Strike Force video, and in this video we are going to talk about the three characters of Marvel Strike Force that are original creations, and they are also the requirements for the Apocalypse. And because they are the requirements for Apocalypse, if you guys don't know, we had a strike time video where this was announced, so you can see right here, Apocalypse requirements. So not only you need Spider-Weaver, but you also need Castro and Deadpool. That means that if you want Apocalypse, a baby Apocalypse or a big Apocalypse, you'll have to get these characters at Gear Tier 16 and ISO 8 Blue level 4 for the baby Apocalypse, or Gear Tier 17 and ISO 8 Blue level 5 for the big Apocalypse. So I think it's going to be important that we talk about once again about the best ISO weight for these three characters, because the meta has changed quite a lot since their release, and now with this forceful upgrade that we have to make to them in order to obtain Apocalypse, then I think it's going to be a good idea to review which kind of ISO weight you should be using with these characters, and also think long term, because many times what is good today, like the ISO weight from Dormammu, many people have Dormammu as a striker, while right now it's no longer the case to have, it's not a good idea to have Dormammu as a striker anymore. So we need to rethink which ISO weight we should use for these three characters. So as always, if you like the information on this video, make sure you share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and make sure you smash that like button. Okay, so Spider-Weaver, she's part of the Tangled Web team. She's mostly used in Cosmic Crucible and in Alliance Wars, and also in Arena. She's one of the best characters in Arena. And right now in Arena we have a situation with the focus of the characters and with the resistance of the characters. With the more Horsemen that will come to the game, with the Apocalypse coming to the game, that means that the Horsemen, they are going to, and Apocalypse himself, they are going to get a boost of resistance thanks to Morgan Le Fay. And that means that if you don't have enough focus, you are not going to be able to stop Apocalypse or Morgan Le Fay or any other of the Horseman characters. So based on that, I think it's going to be important to change the ISO weight for Spider-Weaver, and let's take a look at her stats so you can see the problems that we have with this character. So characters like Morgan Le Fay, they have resistance like over 40,000, and you need to have a similar amount of focus, or at least as close as possible to that. So you can see right here that we only have a focus of 20,000 on her, and that might be a problem. Then we have the damage. The damage is not relevant right now. It's not something you have to worry about. Armor, the HP, all of that is not important. What matters? Focus, resistance, and the speed of the characters. And while Spider-Weaver, she has a decent amount of focus, it's not like the best amount of focus, and especially because her ability of the stun with the ultimate is extremely important. This is extremely important. Apocalypse himself cannot be stunned unless you apply stun with trauma, and that means that Spider-Weaver is going to be one of those characters that is must-have, because it's one of the few characters that can apply stun and trauma at the same time. Very, very important. So you can see right here, this is going to be must-have situation for Arena, Cosmic Crucible, Alliance Wars going forward. It's going to be must-have situation. So once again, based on this, based on the fact that she has decent amount but not like the most amazing amount of focus ever, I would say that maybe it's time to change the ISO weight of Spider-Weaver from Striker, which is a great option, but instead to go with a Skirmisher and go all the way to level 5 with Skirmisher. Because when you have level 5 Skirmisher, you are going to be able to remove positive effects from the enemies, but you are no longer removing, you are flipping those positive effects into bleeds, and that's going to increase your damage output. So even that Striker, it does more damage and so on, you're also applying bleeds and so on. Skirmisher is going to do pretty much the same. The only difference is that you are applying vulnerabilities to the enemies, and you are also having higher focus that will allow you to do the stun on the ultimate, which is so important going forward. The more resistance the characters have, the more focus you need, and this is one of the ways that you can get that focus. Okay, so that's the situation for Spider Weaver. Let's talk about other character. Let's talk about Castro. Castro right now, she doesn't have a team for herself. She has some synergies with cosmic characters that allow her to get more health. So you can use her together for, like with Dormammu, you can use her together with skill characters, Secret Avengers, you can use her together with Nick Fury, you can use her together with Black Bolt, but beyond those very specific situations, she doesn't have exactly a tome, but that's fine, that's all good, because she's a great plug-and-play character. Now, she's a character that can one-shot enemies with her ultimate. She has a nice multiplier, it's piercing damage, and this is one benefit over Spider Weaver, is that Spider Weaver abilities, they are not piercing damage, and that means throughout the time, the more the enemies get stronger, piercing damage is going to continue to be good, while non-piercing damage gets worse and worse and worse. So this is why it's important for characters like Spider Weaver to increase their focus rather than increasing their damage, because their damage will not be consistent throughout time. Okay, so ultimate of Castro, it has piercing damage. The other abilities not so much, and the passive ability that also does additional damage, it's not piercing damage as well, but the multiplier is 400%. That's a very good multiplier for the out of turn abilities or one of these secondary retaliation abilities that we have with our characters. Beyond that, we also have that Castro, she gets a lot more focus when she does the ultimate ability, so that's not going to be a big deal. And the situation with the special, Castro is able to apply defense down to the enemies, and this ability, it activates in 2 taps, and that means that you can apply first the defense down and then you're going to do damage, so it's not going to be a big deal. She also pairs up with other characters that give her offense up, so the situation of the focus is not as important as it is with Spider Weaver. Some people like to use Castro as a raider. In my opinion, right now at this point in time is not that helpful. I rather have the Striker ISO 8 on Castro to apply defense down for 2 turns, and this is convenient because sometimes you use the special, use the ultimate, or use the basic, and it doesn't land the defense down with the first attack, but with the ISO 8 attack we have a secondary chance of applying defense down, and that will be convenient because it lowers the resistance of the enemies, it will increase the damage output of different enemies as well, and it will also increase the damage output of Castro herself because of her passive ability. So for Castro herself, I'm still going to keep her as a striker. The focus is not a big requirement for her. It's more important to have multiple chances of applying defense down and also increasing her damage output with her passive in a consistent manner, and this is why I prefer the Striker ISO 8. Other benefit that the Striker ISO 8 has, and this also matches with the situation of using Castro together with the skill characters, Secret Avengers, or with the cosmic characters that give her more HP, is that on ISO 8 Blue level 5, the more HP you have, the more damage you are going to give. This is going to do L Steel. This is also going to increase the survivability of Castro, and whether you do this on turn or not, that's going to be very helpful. Once again, comparing Castro to Spider Weaver, Spider Weaver only heals with her special ability, and this gives additional value on the Castro as a striker compared to Spider Weaver as a striker. So you can see the difference, that Castro is going to benefit way more of this ability than Spider Weaver does. Okay, so for Castro, striker, for Spider Weaver, skirmisher. What about Deadpool? Deadpool, she is a very problematic character in terms of stats. When you take a look at her stats, we're going to msf.gg. One big problem that she already has is that she is another Mystic character, and she uses the same centerpiece unique as Dormammu. She uses the same centerpiece unique as Doctor Doom, Hela, Adam Warlock. So many characters require miasma, and Deadpool is one of them. While Spider-Weaver and Castro, their centerpiece uniques, and how easy it is to gear up those characters, they are a lot more easy to gear up compared to Deadpool. So this is going to be another factor, because if you cannot gear up the character as much, the value of the ISO weight is also going to change. Now, taking a look at the stats of Deadpool, you can see right here that her focus is very, very mediocre. The resistance is quite decent, the armor is good, the damage is good, the health is good, and the speed is also good. So the only concern is the focus. Does Deadpool has abilities that require focus? She actually does. And this is unfortunate, to be honest. This is quite unfortunate, because Deadpool, she has a passive ability that also has a retaliation effect, the same way that Castro does, but the difference is that Castro activates whenever an enemy has defense down and it gets attacked. So it can activate like 10 times in a match, or even 20 times. I would even say that in a match you can activate that ability up to 20 times. While Deadpool, you can only activate her ability as often as you can kill one character. So if you are facing a summoner, maybe you can kill multiple targets, maybe up to 10. But if you are facing a normal match, this passive ability only activates up to 5 times. And that will reduce the value of the damage output of Deadpool. So if the new meta, if what we are facing next is going to reduce the damage of Deadpool, then we have to think about alternatives on what we should do in terms of the ISO weight. The multiplier of Deadpool is also lower than for Castro, so that's something that we also have to take into consideration. And then we have the situation of the special ability, and this is, for me, this is actually the worst case scenario for Deadpool, is that the special ability transfers all negative effects from this character to the primary target, and then it spreads the negative effects to all adjacent characters to that primary target. The problem is that if the primary target resists the negative effects, then you are already lost the situation. And then when you spread, it can also be resisted the negative effects. And if you don't have enough focus to spread these negative effects, it can cost you a match. Many times on Avengers Tower and in different game modes like Alliance Wars, Cosmic Crucible, you try to spread the negative effects with Deadpool, and you end up not being able to spread the negative effects that you need to win. Offense down, or blind, or ability block. Deadpool, she can spread ability block, and if you are not able to spread these ability blocks, or the blinds, or anything like that, it's pretty much game over. So, taking into consideration that Deadpool, she doesn't do piercing damage with any of her abilities, with the fact that she requires focus to clear death proofs from the enemies, and she also needs focus to spread negative effects on the enemies to other enemies, creating winning situations on your matches, and also taking into consideration that the attack that she has on her passive does not activate often enough to make it relevant. And finally, taking into consideration that the focus of Deadpool is completely mediocre, if not trash, taking into consideration that characters like Morgan Le Fay have like 40,000 resistance, then I think it's time to change the ISO weight from Deadpool from Striker to Skirmisher. It's something unfortunate because we always like to maximize the damage potential of the characters, but taking into consideration the new meta that we are living right now in Marvel Strike Force, taking into consideration what the character is doing and what she's able to provide, you are going to get a lot more winning conditions out of having Deadpool as a skirmisher than having her as a striker. So I think it's time, and if you are taking these characters to ISO Weight Blue level 5, I think it's going to be important to maximize those abilities. Yes, it's still true that Deadpool is also going to do the Striker Isolate and steal health of the enemies with their health, and that would be convenient to have a pretty decent with in terms of HP and in terms of stealing the health. But at the same time, we are using Deadpool on a team together with Cloak and Dagger she heals by quite a lot with her basic attack, with her Striker Isolate, and also with her special. So it's not like Deadpool requires that additional healing that the Isolate Blue level 5 is able to provide. So I think unfortunate is time to change the Isolate from Deadpool, from Striker to Skirmisher, and take it all the way to the moon to unlock Apocalypse, because unfortunate or fortunate enough, those are going to be the requirements in case you want to obtain the big boy Apocalypse and all the horsemen. So yeah guys, that's going to be the video. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about these recommendations. Do you agree with the points I made about the focus of Spider Weaver for the stun? Do you agree with my points about the special of Deadpool and how important it is to spread those blinds or ability blocks in certain matches? And do you think that Castro is still best as a striker? Let me know your opinions on the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to smash that like button, and if you found the video helpful, make sure to share it with your friends on Facebook and Discord. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe for more Marvel Strike Force content, and I will catch you guys later.